And this is a question I want to ask you about based on something that I heard somebody say the other day on a video. A
Uh-huh.
guy that has multiple trucks, but he got a bunch of Peterbilts, several Peterbilts, and you drive a
Right.
Peterbilt. So, as
Right.
I'm listening to this video, this guy is talking about, the interviewer asked him, why he runs Peterbilts. He was asking him a little bit about that. And the guy
Right.
was saying that, I want my customers to see me as a professional. That was the
Right.
reason why he run the type of trucks that he run. He got, six-figure Peterbilts that he run, right?
Okay.
And again, man, I don't want to come across like I know everything because I definitely
Mm.
know that I don't, right?
Right.
But this guy was a vet. Most of the people that I listen to in trucking, I'm like, they know more than me.
Right.
But it just didn't sound like a good idea. He got $200,000 Pete's, $150,000 Pete's that he
Hmm.
runs, multiple ones. And the reason that he does that and keeps them squeaky clean and up to par is because he wants his customers to see him as a professional.
Right.
I'm thinking of myself as a shipper. Right
Hmm.
now, there's a lot of people that use online banks. And the
Right.
reason they use online banks is because online banks have less overhead than
Hmm.
brick and mortar banks.
Right.
It was like better for me to use an online bank because more of my money, I'm not going to get feed to death. And when
Hmm.
I heard him say that, like I run Pete's because I want my customers to see me as professionals, I'm like, bro, if I'm a shipper and I see you keep pulling up on my lot with Pete's, it's making me think, yo, bro, like I'm paying for that. I'd
Yeah.
rather see you pull up on my lot in a Volvo. You understand what I'm saying? Or
Right.
something
Right.
that's more fuel efficient, because
Right.
that gives me the impression that I would rather deal with a guy that looks like he's running efficiently.
Right.
You got any thoughts on that?
If you can afford to run Peterbilts, new Peterbilts, hey man, more power to you.
Mm-hmm.
And usually, sometimes that's based on the fact that relationship between that owner of that business
Mm-hmm. And the
and that
shipper.
shipper of that company.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he don't, if you, that's why I say, if you dealing with somebody that don't mind seeing you making money, and they know they're gonna get their freight covered, and they know you keep top-notch drivers, they sometimes
We'll
can't
overlook
really
that.
afford to say, well, let me find somebody to do it a little cheaper. Because when you find somebody to do it a little cheaper, then your truck's breaking down. You get drivers that ain't, going where they supposed to go or delivering your freight on time. Then the shipper is losing customers because the customer looking, well, where the product is supposed to be here yesterday and all that kind of stuff. So if you find yourself in a position, that's why I say if you got somebody that can, that you got a good relationship with, if you don't took them out to dinner or you married to the, sister-in-law or whatever, that type of situation, then hey, go for it,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
go for it.
I,
Some situations you might find yourself in a position where the people don't want to see you in that in that new truck like that, but that's usually worked out before you even get in the door, because you got them Peterbilts like that, the the rate, when you come in with your rate saying that, hey, I got these Peterbilts to pay for, they might tell you hit the road because the rates ain't gonna be what you need them to be in order for the pay for that equipment.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. And I
yeah.
would think I'm kind of switching the subject matter to that of a bank. I
Mm-hmm.
ain't never looking at it. I mean, I ain't gonna say never because I still use a brick and mortar bank, but I'm
Right.
comparing. I'm comparing apples to apples. My online bank and the cost of doing business there and what
Yeah.
I'm losing out on. I'm looking at that, man. You know what I
Right.
mean? I'm looking at
But
that. Go ahead.
okay, even look at that, right? Brick and mortar versus online. Me personally, I'd rather deal with a brick and
There's
mortar
a
bank.
lot of people that still would rather deal with a brick and mortar.
I
I gotta
rather, you
give
know
you
what I
that.
mean?
I
And
gotta
that
give you
might I
that.
might be paying a little bit more for that brick and mortar bank.
But you get peace of mind for that.
Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So,
A lot of these
maybe,
online banks don't even have customer service departments
yeah,
that you can talk to. So I get that.
exactly.
I get that. I get that. But on the
Right.
flip side of the coin, you just now said a minute ago, and I would agree with you. I was listening to a video the other day where a guy was talking about he had 5 trucks. Somebody
Hmm.
came in and undercut him. TMC
I
came in
saw
and
that.
undercut him.
That's the one I was talking
I
about.
got you. So we talking about the same
Yeah,
thing. So it's
yeah,
like, yo, and he said he was with them for a minute.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
I have said before that trucking is who you know, but in a tight
yeah.
economy,
Right.
Like, yo, like I'm, hey, bro, we know each other. We
Yeah.
go to church. I see you in church every so often,
Right.
but it's a
Right.
tight economy. I need to save some money, and somebody hit me with a quote that's half of yours.
Half. Yeah.
Ha! That's a
Yeah.
tough one right there,
Yes,
man. That's a
sir.
tough one
Yes,
right
sir.
there.
Yep.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. You know, like I said, that guy, if you feel comfortable enough that the person that you're dealing with wouldn't mind seeing you pulling up in something nice or whatever,
That is not. I'm gonna say it again. Well, I'm not gonna say it again because I ain't said it yet. I'm thinking
Right.
about. I'm thinking about the book. I be pulling shit from different places, man. But I can't
Right.
remember whether it was the book "The Richest Man in Babylon" or "The Greatest Salesman in the World." I
Mm-hmm.
think it was "The Greatest Salesman in the World," and it might even be. It might even speak about this in 48 Laws of Power.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't want to gamble on people being okay with seeing you make money.
Right. But
Like
you
I
don't want
don't
to put
care.
yourself in a position where it is going to affect you, and that's a good position to be in when you can say, hey, look, you ain't my only customer. Hey, I'm coming in with this rate, kind of take it or leave it, and that's the position I like to be in. Yeah, I got a new truck. Yeah, yeah, you take it or leave it. This is my rate. I'm gonna get your freight where it's gotta go. So I've run into that situation where you can kind of be on top and do what you need to do, and it don't affect you if they kind of cut you loose or whatever. You still go do your thing and still make your money or whatever. So, and you kind of gotta have that mentality
Swagger about you.
about yourself,
Yeah, I
you
get
know.
that.
Yeah. So, if you come in there with the hey, oh man, I really need it. You got anything, hey, they go, oh, we got him where we want him, man. Let's
Yeah,
drop the rate on him a little bit.
yeah, I feel you. I feel you. Like I
Yeah.
said, I don't. I think, and I definitely understand what you're saying. A lot of it has to do with personal preference. Like if you can
Yeah.
afford to do it, you should be able to run your company on Pete's, brand new Pete's, if you want to.
Yeah.
If you can
Yeah.
afford to do it.
Yeah.
But I think with
Yeah.
just my mentality, like if I get to the point where I'm making a bunch of money, I just don't know if I want it to show like that.
And you probably shouldn't want it. You probably shouldn't.
Yeah, like keep
Now,
that thing. Don't rock the boat. That's another way of saying
yeah,
don't rock the boat,
yeah.
man.
More than likely, it'd be best to probably not show it,
Yeah.
even if you got to have a newer truck running somewhere else, and you got a customer that's a little flaky. Well, let me send the old truck over there. Then grab it, then I maybe put it on the new truck, let the new truck going up the road with it or whatever. But sometimes you just can't let people know what you're doing. And I have
Yeah.
ran across instances like
But that
that.
don't bit you in the ass, basically, letting people
I
know what
mean,
you're doing like that.
little statements. Oh, so you got a new truck there, huh? I've heard stuff like that when I first bought my truck. A new truck, huh? Oh, okay. Yeah. So uh, yep. So
Yeah.
things, yeah, you kind of sense when things get a little funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other people running and you ain't. So
I could see myself being the type of person. I don't aspire to do what this person was doing that I'm talking about. But if I was in that position, like I want my company to come across like I run efficient and I don't splurge on unnecessary stuff.
right,
Because I
right.
want them to feel comfortable that, like we not paying him. It ain't a bunch
Yeah.
of unnecessary shit ain't built into his rate. That's the way I
Right.
want to come across. That's the way I'd want to keep it. But again, I understand
Yeah.
another person, not being, not abiding by that philosophy.
Yeah, yeah. Now you said if you got a shipper that would prefer some shippers prefer you have nice stuff. They want you to have because they want to know that their freight will get up the road. But that's a sense that you'll get when you're dealing with that shipper like that. Hey, I got to update my equipment because man, last week I had that breakdown. So you know what? That kind of they remember that. So, let me update my equipment a little bit. So sometimes you just got to kind of feel out the shipper or your customer, and
Yep. Yep.
you'll know.
Yep.
So,
And something else, I'm not talking about new equipment versus old equipment. I'm talking
right.
about new equipment that's kind of on the splurgy side
Yeah.
versus new equipment that appears to be on the efficient side. That's why I mentioned the Volvo.
Right,
That's why I
right, right.
mentioned the Volvo. Like,
Yeah.
I probably would be one of those drivers, and I say Volvo, that or an equivalent truck. I would probably lean more towards having a fleet of new, clean, well-kept Volvos driven
Yeah.
by drivers that look professional, You know what I
Yeah.
mean? As
Mm.
opposed to having all these designer show truck looking like Pete's and stuff. Like,
Right.
that to me would just, as a shipper, if I'm a shipper,
Yeah.
I would be looking at that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, like I say,
hmm.
it just depends on your relationship with you and this ship. If y'all
Yeah.
have been out to dinner and play golf together and hunt together, and
Yeah.
you hunt together, you in there. You go buy what you want to buy. Yes, sir. You take them hunting or fishing. Oh man, buy what you want to buy.
I get it. I get it. I
Yes,
get it.
sir.